Hey guys, I hope you're doing good. I wanted to come at you with some characters that I like to use on War Offense. Some I don't actually use yet, but I'd really like to because their kits are so strong. I'm going to show you why, show you what teams I think they'd be really good against. Let's get right into that right now, starting with Squirrel Girl. Alright, I gotta start this list with Squirrel Girl because she really does fit a bunch of the criterias I use to evaluate characters as a war offense plug and play hybrid character. And you gotta look at her special and her passive. They do need the T4s. The special makes it clear all negative effects, and the passive makes her go faster if she drops below 50% life. So it's 10% without, it's 30% with. That's a big enough difference. You're gonna want this T4. Speaking of which, she's gotta drop below 50%. Don't build her up too high. You want to have her at just the right level for the enemies that you're facing to knock her below 50 so she does her job without dying and without, being above 50%. I like her as a healer. She does the heal on her special. Everything else is kind of meh. She does do offense now with her ultimate, but she's got enough focus. You bring her up to like 71. You're going to need to bring her to at least 68 to put that T4 on the special anyway. So that should land. Who do I use her with? Nobody, because I don't ever build. I'm working on raid teams instead right now. I am going to double back to her. Who would I use her against? Symbiotes, Brotherhood Doom, New Warriors come to mind. They're going to put a bunch of debuffs out. If she cleanses them right away, that's neutered. Just be careful if they start including enemies that have an ability block, and then Deathpool spreads the ability block. Keep an eye out for that. So you probably want to tuck her on the side. So Squirrel Girl, eat nuts. So this one might catch out of left field. Hawkeye. Hawkeye is an amazing plug and play character for war offense because when you control what he does, it's super impactful. Currently, I don't have him on offense because I have enough plug and play characters, so he's kind of at the bottom rung of this list. But let's look at why he needed to be included. Now, his speed is 131. That's pretty quick. And what he does right away is he reduces 3 enemies, so who you target and the 2 adjacent, by 20%. You put this T4 and it clears all the positive effects, and it's unavoidable. That's a really, really strong opening move, and that alone kind of warrants him a spot on this list. Because in war, speed is king. If you could take out one of the members before they take out one of yours, it puts you in a really good spot to win. So speed manipulation is great. Same with the buff removal. And that doesn't even include his ult. Now his ult does damage, weak damage, but applies slow to everybody. Like we just said, speed is the name of the game. That slow is super impactful. And not only that, apply blind to the primary target, and 50% chance to apply blind to everybody else, and it's unavoidable. He needed a spot on this list. I would never build a character because there's a show coming out and they might get a rework, but there is a Hawkeye show coming out and he might get a rework, so maybe keep him in mind. But if you have the resources, go for it. If not, and you're like me, we're going to raid teams. I get that too. He needs the focus, so you do need to build him up a little bit. Probably not gear, probably just levels. But gold is pretty scarce. And with the level cap increasing, we're all going to be pretty gold pinched and training mat pinched. So maybe put him on the back burner for now, but keep him in your mind because he's going to be impactful at some point, I'm pretty sure.
Such a poser.
Alright guys, so speed is the name of the game in war, and Black Widow has super speed. So she's at 148 speed, which is crazy. So she goes very quickly, and she has a 60% chance to put speed up on all your allies for 2 turns, which is great. But it is 60% chance. So it's hard to say that she's like a plug and play solo support character. I wouldn't go that far. I plug her with my Falcon and my Doom. That way, even if she doesn't land the speed up, OG Falcon will do his thing, and then Doom's still going to do his thing. But if she does land the speed up, it's that much faster, that much safer. So I like her there, and you don't need to build her up at all. Like, at all. Like, this is fine. She doesn't need any T4s. I use her as a skirmisher, mostly because I don't really care about what she is. Maybe you want Fortifier to keep her alive. If you do bring her all the way up to level 5 for, say, Doom Raid, skirmisher will be the best bet to land more buff strips, and also to land the stun. Who do I use it with? I already told you, OG Falcon and Doom. Who do I use that team against? I use it against Doom teams, but you can use it against anybody except for Inhuman Coulson Silver Surfer. Don't do that. Black Bolt disrupting Doom is no bueno. Don't use it against casual teams, obviously, but like mercenaries, fill your boots, marauders, hero brawlers, whatever, right? Loved Black Widow, loved her movie. It sucks to see her out of the MCU, but Yelena was great. So hopefully they'll put this kit on Yelena when the next Black Widow movie comes out, or whenever Yelena does her thing, and we'll get to keep playing the iconic Black Widow characters. Now, I wanted to include Rhino because you're seeing a lot of these Brotherhood Doom teams, but he also has value if, say, Wave 1 Avengers with Hawkeye, if Hawkeye gets his ultimate off and it happens to land on him. Same with Taskmaster if it happens to land on him. So not super great. I don't like to bet on RNG, but against Brotherhood Doom, he is absolutely an MVP. And that comes down to his passive, which is going to fill speed bar by 75% if he gets blinded. 100% if you put the T4 on, not necessary in the Brotherhood Doom matchup though. And on blind, clear one negative effect from himself and each ally, so that takes one off of everybody. And then you go to the special, and he'll clear one negative effect from himself and each adjacent ally. Now in the Brotherhood Doom team, that should be your home team unless somebody resists. And then he gains taunt, and because he gets that speed bar, he is going to get to use this right away. So that's 2 debuffs off. Not as good as Squirrel Girl, but guaranteed. Don't have to have him drop below 50%, which is useful. I like Rhino, and I really just wanted to make an animation of him smashing into a water tower. So that's what I did.
Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
Now, if I include Black Widow on this list, I have to include Nick Fury, because he does a better version of what she does. It comes from his special, where he gets speed up to himself on spawn. He doesn't need the T4 for this. The T4 gets an extra 10% to grant assist now. Pretty cool mechanic. It can come in a pinch, so I don't mind that T4, but it's definitely a luxury. You see I have one on the Ultimate here. Don't do this one. I did it before Secret Avengers came out. If I could take it away now, I definitely would, because I'd rather Maria have her 3 troopers for turn meter rewind instead of having an operative and a security out for slow stuns and peels. Yeah, so don't do that one, but his real focus is with this special. He gains defense up, and then he'll spread his defense up and his speed up to his entire team on turn 1, and he goes super fast because he starts with that speed up. So he's a great character. You can use him on Secret Avengers if you'd like to make sure they get going faster, but if you're not going to use him there, you can use him with X Factor. You can use him with like a Zemo Hela team, make them go faster. You can use him with a Doom team to make them go faster. If you use him with Doom, make sure you're not hitting your ult though, because then you're going to nerf yourself on those bots. So I use him as a healer. This one is kind of up in the air. Healer is really only good for himself, shield allies, and Kestrel. Skirmisher is okay. If he gets called from an assist now, he'll apply more vulnerables out there. Otherwise, he doesn't really get to use his basic. You're probably going to start with special, then ultimate. Raider, again, you're probably not going to use the basic till later, but if you do use the basic and it crits, it gives energy to adjacent allies, pretty good. Fortifier, I mean, once he uses his special, he can die. I don't really care. Striker, no. So I use him as healer. You can go whatever you want, though. So yeah, I'd include Nick Fury. He's great. I loved him in the MCU. I can't wait to see what he's doing up in space. It's going to be awesome. Hold on. I know some of you, few of you, are thinking, Emma on offense as a plug and play? Yes. Marauders suck now. There's so many counters with X Factor, Shadowlands punching up, 900k. I don't know what the punch ups are now, but it's ridiculous. She's wasted on defense. Pull her off defense, put her with some hybrid teams, and you're going to have a lot more fun. Now, why is she so great? Well, let's look at her passive. Do not need this T4. That's a war defense thing. It's this part right here. Apply minus 10% speed to all enemies. Awesome. And while charged, armor resist. Pretty good. Now, her special is why she's super useful. She's going to bury herself, whatever. Apply immunity to all mutant villain allies, whatever. Apply slow to all enemies, that's good. And also clear all negative effects from self and allies. So, she got debuff control and debuff output. Amazing, love that. And then you got to look at the ultimate. You are going to want a T4 in this as well. Clear all positive effects from enemies. Cool. Mind control 2 enemies with the highest damage to attack a character. Like Loki, pretty cool. Mostly for the buff strip, that part there. And it puts blind out, which is great. So, I have her as healer. You can put her as skirmisher. If you really want, you can put her as striker because she does peel off debuffs with her basic. She's got a lot of options. I use her as a healer because I had her on war defense. I don't want to waste ions on her. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want there. Who do I use her with? I use her with a team that needs debuff cleansing. Used to be Heroes for Hire with Shang-Chi coming out. I think that's going the way of the dodo. Now, symbiotes come to mind. Super useful against symbiotes. Brotherhood Doom, it's kind of a tight call because she does go pretty slow. She's not going to clear those blinds fast enough. The new Warriors, when they come out, I think a lot of people are going to slap in them on defense just because new teams, people fail a lot because they don't know how to approach them. I think she'll be a good answer there. So, love Emma Frost, love the costume, love the blue skin, love the character. Now it's a sad fact that the founding family of the Marvel Universe, the Fantastic Four, they kind of suck on both offense and defense. The She-Hulk one can maybe throw some people for a loop. They're going to try some risky teams against it that are unnecessary. But on offense, they're not great. And I'm a super offense-minded person, so I see the value in my Invisible Woman, and I throw her on offense in hybrid teams. And let's look at why. I have all these 3 T4. Don't do the passive. That's a Fantastic Four only one. But the special here, clear 2 negative effects instead of 1. Apply stealth to yourself and all allies. It also clears stealth from all enemies, which is great. Applies defense set for 2 turns. Amazing. It makes whoever doesn't get the stealth, so you're going to clear stealth from the highest health ally, gives them 3 deflex and immunity for 2 turns, makes them like a little mini tank. Hopefully it's not someone squishy. So I love that ability. So you either open with that, if you want the defense up and you want to clear stealth or you want to clear debuffs, or you open with the barrier. Apply offense down for 2 turns to all enemies and bury yourself for 40% of this character's max life. I may be biased because I have a 7 red star Invisible Woman, but I find this shield huge. You also want to T4 this. It takes the RNG out of the offense down, so instead of 2 turns to 3 random enemies, it's 2 turns to everybody. A little extra barrier, so I really like that one. You're going to want her as a skirmisher. So all of her abilities apply the vulnerable, which is amazing, and her retaliate. When she has barrier and she gets hit, also applies the vulnerable. So that's an amazing ISO choice for her. Who do I use her with? Any hybrid team that needs a quick cleanse, or needs to apply offense down, or needs to take care of stealth, she's great there. Who do I currently use her with? I slap her often with my Zemo Silver Surfer Hela team. That gives Silver Surfer the Cosmic Ally, as well as clears debuffs and shields them in case Doom's gonna get his ult off. She kind of braces for that, which is amazing. I love Invisible Woman. It's hard to say I'd like a rework Fantastic Four because they already had the offense version, the defense version, and they tied some Doom synergy there. So I don't think it's gonna happen, but you gotta find use for the first family of the Marvel Universe. Amazing, amazing characters.
Find another famous person's life to ruin. Get out! Get out of my house!
Now with Invisible Woman making this list, obviously you're dismembering your Fantastic Four, and since you're doing that, you're going to need a home for Namor. He's a great character. He brings a lot in his ult. He's slow, but it kind of works to his benefit to steal the strips off. So this attack always crits, clears all positive effects, and reduces speed bar by 50%. Can't be countered or avoided. Now with that said, it needs a T4. That's how you clear all the positive effects. An extra increase to the speed bar manipulation, which is great. Like I said, he's pretty slow. So he's, 113. That's pretty slow in the war meta. That's good, because you're going to clear all those deflects off so that his ult actually crits. And that's why I have him as a raider. Now who do I use him with? X Factor. I love him with X Factor for not attacking a Doom team. Just the make sure it crits, lots of damage, clear the positive effects. That's something that X Factor needs. He's great there. Who do I use him against? I mostly do giant punch-ups. Well, giant punch-ups if I see them on Emirata teams. He's great against like Sinister Six. He can clear all those regens that Doc Ock throws out. He's definitely a supporting character. So although he does damage, don't rely on him to carry the damage. Just accept that it's for the buff cleanse and it's for the speed bar manipulation, and make sure he has real damage dealers with him. So he does do damage, but don't rely on him to do all the heavy lifting. So I love Thad Castle, so I had to include him just so I can make that squealing sound bit.
Kneel before me.
Alright guys, I had to include Loki on this list because he is a beast on certain teams. His kit is amazing. Now let's look at why that is. It comes down to his special. He increases his own speed bar by 15% on spawn. More importantly, his Mystic controller allies. That's your Doom, if you want to use him with Doom. Your Hela, if with Hela. But most interestingly, I think, is with Cloak coming out. Now, he's going to make Cloak go a bit faster. And I think that's great, because I think they're going to need to get those debuffs out quick to survive on war defense. And then you're going to get to spread it with Death Pool, and then it's just going to be a lot of fun. Now, what else does he do? He applies minus 20% resist to all enemies. That's huge. Put the T4 on if you want for an extra 10%. Pretty good. It's pretty good T4, actually, especially for war defense, with like defense up on almost every team. It's pretty good. He also gains 20% focus, and Mystic controller allies also gain 20% focus and 20% resist, and he heals himself. And when he drops below, he gains stealth. He's a great character. Great kit-based character. He's probably not going to drop below 50% life. He's probably just going to drop dead if he gets hit. But his passive persists through death, and that's all you really need from him is that passive. Now, what else can he do? He can do his Mind Control turn 1. Mind Control 2 enemies if you got the T4. Not a super necessary. That was back in the day when they were on war defense, but not so much now. As far as ISO 8 goes, Skirmisher's the way to go. He is going to go super quick. He's going to put that defense down out, so if you have level 5, that'll help land that. More importantly, it puts the vulnerable out. That's going to be super useful. Now, who am I going to use him with? Well, I'm using him with Cloak as soon as Cloak comes out. I think that's going to be a banger offense team. I think people are just writing it off as a raid team, but with all those debuffs, I could see them having a good effect against certain teams. Stay tuned to that. You'll see it in the warrior caps for sure. Who am I going to use him against? Well, stay tuned. You'll see for sure. God of Mischief. The only thing he's missing is a alligator skin. Womp, womp, womp. The tip top of this list is OG Falcon. You can see I put a lot of love into my OG Falcon. He's by far my favorite supporting war character. He does so much speed manipulation and damage that I brought him to gear tier 15 and ISO blue level 1 raider. I tried him in the Doom raid and he's awesome there too. Can't recommend this character enough. You do see I had the T4 in his ult. It's really just damage, which is cool. It does a lot of damage, but let's talk about his main purpose, and that is the special right here. Fill speed bar for self and all allies by 25%, plus 10% for each enemy with a positive effect. On a boosted team, that's everybody. That's 75% extra speed. Amazing. Clear stealth from all enemies. That's great, especially against Cargo Bay. He has some block, he does some damage, and when he does his ult, he's going to rip everyone into Vulnerable City, which is amazing. Now, who do I use him with? I slap him with Doom. And who do I use them against? Other Dooms. Him using his ult really crushes every single opposing Doom team, with the exception of Shuri. Now, Shuri can do the super annoying energy feed to Doom, and then you're really dead in the water. So just be mindful of that. But any Doom team, whether it be Uncanny or Brotherhood, Falcon Doom really makes it a super simple win. So can't recommend him enough, and I was so happy when Cap Sam came to the game, because it's basically another version of him, a little less plug and play, but still amazing on his own team. So yeah, I love Captain Sam, I love Falcon, I love Anthony Mackie. He's the best part of the MCU. There, I said it, he is.